Joining me now to discuss this is Costa, emerging markets debt strategist at Commerzbank. Lewis, good morning. Thanks very much for joining us. Are we going to see Dubai default or not?
No, we don't believe it's the case. Our base assumption here is still of strong support by oil states, Emirates oil states, such as Abu Dhabi. But that doesn't necessarily mean that all principals will be paid. I mean, we're probably going to see restructuring efforts intensify in the short term, which might suggest haircuts and extension of tenors. And this is obviously not fantastic news for investors.
Yeah, what sort of horse trading then will go on between Abu Dhabi and Dubai over the weekend?
Well, I mean, it's a situation of lateral transfers between the states. So Abu Dhabi, I don't think Abu Dhabi will directly interfere in Dubai world, but I mean, what can happen here is basically transfers or further agreements. We know that there's already a $20 billion bond program by the UAE, which part of it was transferred to the Dubai state. So, I mean, we continue to believe that will probably happen. The lateral transfers between the states, and eventually further support to consolidate this restructuring plan, which is very ambitious, and that's the problem. The complexity of the instruments involved in this eventually $22 billion restructuring at the Dubai World parent company and subsidiaries is very complex.
Do you expect further pressure on the Dubai credit default swap side?
I do expect, and actually we sent out a note yesterday believing that, I mean, Dubai risk will remain elevated. That will probably open the opportunity to open exposure to other Middle East related enterprises that are actually healthy in terms of cash flow. But when it comes to Dubai risk, I still foresee some level of volatility.
What about the contagion, Lewis, the potential for contagion beyond the region to emerging markets and elsewhere? What's the risk?
Well, it's we are talking about an over $20 billion of basically of restructuring. That this is obviously that has a potential for some level of contagion, especially when it comes to the healthy and write-downs in banks at the core of Western Europe and the U.S. So I mean, I don't expect the contagion to be muted, but I still would believe that on volatility, yes, but that will be contained in the midterm.
Does this tell us, Lewis, that yes, central banks have stabilized the system, but they can't make all the excesses simply disappear?
Well, I mean, we are still paying for our access. I think this is the main message here. We saw Ukrainian banks in 2009. We saw Kazakhstan in 2009, which is pretty much still unsolved. And now there's Dubai. It's a state with 120% of GDP leverage. And now they will have to pay for the access. And unfortunately, there will be a lot of burden sharing with investors.
Costa, emerging market debt strategy at Commerzbank. Thanks for joining us.